Welcome, everybody, to Catfish Weekly, along with my brother Chad Fields. We've got two guests tonight that I'm sure all of you already recognize. We've got Mr. Danny Stone and Mr. Jerry Parker of Parker Pursuits.
Never
And
heard of him.
tonight, guys, we're going to be talking about fishing rising water because I've took a look at the weather forecast for our area, and it's actually most of the Midwest this week is supposed to be just getting inundated with rain and warmer temperatures, and that's going to mean
Bring on that 60 and 70-degree rain, baby.
yes, and it's that's going to melt all that snow and ice that's up north of us, and we're going to have some water in the river. We're going to have water in the Ohio River.
Yeah, we're gonna have flow on top of flow. We're gonna be sending you guys down yonder a whole lot of
We'll
water.
take all you want to send,
We're
and
gonna,
it all
we're
goes
gonna
to
send you a
Danny.
lot.
Yeah,
All
problem
goes to
is,
me.
I'm upriver from there.
Yeah, every bit of it goes to Danny. So
Oh, Danny's
all
gonna get
mine.
a lot. I'm gonna share the love with Daniel Stone.
Well, I appreciate it. Just don't send the trees and stuff with it. Keep those.
I can guarantee you, you're gonna have. I was getting ready to tell you when we launched on Saturday. I went about 50 feet from the boat ramp through my cast net one time and loaded a cooler full of shad and I started putting down. There is a tree that has to be at least 8 foot wide, setting on the bank, just in the middle of the water in the shallow, where it's sitting there waiting for the flood water
oh,
to
it's just
come
going to
and
take it
take
right
it
on
away. And it's going to be coming your way, my friend. It is
Dude,
huge.
run down there and carve your name in it before it gets out of
Oh,
there.
absolutely, yeah.
I'll look for it. I will absolutely look for
Man,
it.
you guys, all three of you had no trouble finding bait this weekend, and I threw
Right.
until my arms hurt.
Well, the weekend before last, it was you couldn't find bait. You'd find it like them little ones, like 2 or 3 at a time. This time it was one. I probably had 150, 200 shad in this net.
I mean, it's
It was
one of those times where
and
if
it
I'd
was
have took
big
the
ones.
boat, if I'd have took the
Medium.
boat out, I can find bait if I'm on the boat. I can move around, but all of my spots that I could throw from the bank, I hit all of them up on Friday night or Saturday, man, Friday or Saturday night. Hit all of them again Sunday morning. I caught one little bitty shad that was about 2.5 inches long, and I said, "It's your lucky day, pal. You get to go back. I ain't even." So, my buddy Jerry gave me one fresh shad yesterday when I met him at the boat ramp. It was my payment for fixing his outboard. So
How big was the shad? How big was the shad?
it was a good sized shad. Oh, and he gave me a great big old Asian carp too.
Oh,
Yeah, every bit of bait. I only threw the cast net like maybe 3 times. This first time I threw it, I found about half dozen or 8 big old gizzard shad in like 20 foot of water, and I burned through all them because I got on a bunch of small fish like really quick Sunday, and then toward the end of the day I made one more stop through it, and I ended up with 3 big old gizzard shad, 2 of which I used, and one of them I gave you.
Well, I caught a fish on the tail end of that one, so
Good deal.
I didn't get a lot of bites. Had one rod get tapped twice and nothing ever come of it, and then the one on the outside closest to the confluence with the Mississippi there, I had thrown it just towards the Mississippi, so it was further downstream, and it just got annihilated by that one I caught yesterday. So I don't think they'd moved far enough up yet. If I'd have gone down maybe another 100 yards, I think I'd have been catching fish.
No flow yet. That's the problem.
No, there's none. It was the Mississippi was starting to flow up into that, but it wasn't.
There's no flow coming out of the Cascade right now, so they're not making the move up in there. But once this rain comes in, this Saturday,
This weekend, it should be fire up there.
so my boat will be probably camped out, rain or shine, in my poncho on that bank. If it comes out like it, I hope it's going to.
Man, I tell you what, as muddy as it is right now, just without any rain, it's going to be a slip and slide this weekend out there.
oh God, yeah. Now it came up about 10 feet for us down here this past weekend. But we've had quite a bit of debris floating.
Yeah, it's still super low up here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
they're
you're
starting
above the
to-
Ohio. They don't give you. They're not gifting you like the Army.
we give Danny all our water.
Yeah.
The Ohio likes major. Just because you like, well, he catches big fish all the time. He don't need no water.
That's right.
Ooh, Ted, what do you say? We say hello to everybody in chat with us
All
tonight.
right. Hello, everybody in chat that's with us.
There
tonight.
we go. Okay,
All right.
we got it done.
I'm just kidding. Let's go. Sampy, Joe Buck 66, member LG Bass, John Boy's catfishing. Let me see what we got here. There's Bugman 22, catch fish with us. Donald Knight Senior, H. Lee Osborne, Old Boy Outdoors. It's freezing on me. Hold on there. There you go. Dave Garshar, Mr. Dave Funk, Lisa Swain, Schmieder of the Cedars, V. Smith. Got Northern View Outdoors has joined us tonight. Good to see him.
I ain't seen him in a while.
I know. There's Creole Catfishing. Yeah, we're all going to collectively send all that water down to Creole.
Well, that's true.
If
I
you
got to watch a little bit of his show the other night, and I didn't get to watch all of it because I was running to Menards to buy stuff for. We had a leak in garage or hose faucet, so I was not in the best of moods anyway. But I was enjoying Creole's new show. So
I apologize for missing that. But what I was going to say, if we're going to send him all this nice water, he can continue to send some of that warm weather up our way as well.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
I think we ought to all make little boats and like write something on them and send them down to Creole.
See if we can make it. See who can make it. We got Jose 803 Panfisherman, Randy Swain. Let's see. Mr. Gimpy said, "Who are these guys? Never heard of them." Me neither, pal. Me neither. There's Hooked on Cats. What's up, Terry?
Hey, there's Captain Terry Rogers.
Keno Chris. I guess he's done winning millions on Keno. He's taking a break and watching on his poor saps. Butterflies in Sunshine. Good to see you. Seeing anybody new here? Not seeing anybody new here.
Did you see Fanny Listenby, Larry's wife?
Nope. Rowdy Royal. I might still be way up top here. I don't even know where I'm at right now.
Yeah, chat's moving pretty good there. So.
Lance McCoo guy, Ray Smith. Creole said, "Send it. I'm ready."
Absolutely.
Nebraska Wildcat. There's Fanny Listenby. I'm getting down there, guys. I promise. River Rat 3030. And I'm at the bottom. All right. Well, if I miss anybody, apologies. But, you know, I'm a rookie at this sometimes. What are we talking about, fellas?
You're an old school pro at this. We are talking about rising water. And there is a lot of times, and I've done this, I used to do this a lot. The river would be rising, it'd be flooded, and I'd get down there and you'd see all that trash in the river. And you say, nope, and you turn around and go home. And I have come to realize I have missed out on a lot of good fish.
Yep.
Because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I figured we'd bring in a couple guys that know what they're talking about, and instead of just me and Chad trying to.
Are there somebody else is joining, or? God, I missed you both.
Instead of trying to make it, we'd take.
We can tell.
Look at that. Catfish Chasers has a tournament coming up at Milford Lake in Kansas, March the 21st. I still want to go back to Milford.
I'm heading Oklahoma, probably in April. Grand Lake.
Nice.
Man, I want to go to Conroe too, just so I can fish the areas that I fish on that game.
Oh, you're killing me.
Oh my God.
You better believe I would make a video and I would superimpose my video inside that game screen. Let's see.
All right. So we got 2 to 4 inches of rain falling here. So you're going to have the whole stretch of the Ohio and whatever ice and everything is still left in Ohio. They may still have some stuff up that way, all the way east over to like Pittsburgh, where the Ohio starts. So that you're going to get
There's going to be a bunch coming through, and
coming down that way.
And
So.
actually, we over the weekend, over last week, we got a big influx on the Ohio as it was, and it rose real sharp,
Mhm.
and then it just dumped right off.
So
Yep, I got all of
it does up here.
And so I've actually pulled up some graphs. These are the ones as of, it was probably about 5 p.m. tonight whenever I pulled the graph. If you go to National Weather Service website for your area, you just go to weather.gov and find your local office, and they'll usually have a thing on there for rivers and lakes, and you can click on that and go all through and see what the trend is. And that's where I got these graphs. I would take a look at this one. This is the Ohio River at Paducah, Kentucky. So you can see February 26th observed was 22 and a half feet. And then latest was 14 and a half. So it's dumped off, 8 feet just since the 26th of February. But we're looking at putting some back on. And then when they do these, they only take into account the next like 48 hours worth of rain.
Yeah, I would say here in the middle of or to the end of this week, that gauge alone will probably be seen in like around the 30 feet mark. You'll see a huge spike all of a sudden come up with that much rain coming in.
Well, that's really crazy because where that dumps off, it shows you at your 22, but when it dumps off and loses 8 feet, right when that hits bottom, ours went up 8 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yep. I mean, you can look at it perfectly. It's just a reversed.
There's no matter.
Yep.
There's where he got all that water.
Yep.
It dumped off, and there it is going down to New Madrid. So, and you can follow that. Water. There's a bunch of water. It don't just magically just go to the Gulf. It takes a while to travel.
Mm-hmm.
So you can kind of follow that down. But part of the reason pulling those graphs up, I kind of wanted to get you guys' input on how you would approach this. When would you be wanting to hit this, and where would you be looking to target?
Well, Jerry, you want to go first, or you want me to do it?
Okay. Now, this graph here, since it is coming up so fast, definitely I'll pull back into the tributaries because you're going to have a ton of trash, debris in the main river. And those fish, yes, it's a big feeding spree when in high water, but they don't want all that trash, debris, especially your bait fish, your moon eye, your shad. They're going to go up in those tributaries. And of course, those big predatory fish are going to follow them up, especially on hard, fast rides like this. Now, if you can find a creek that actually has some flow coming out of it, that's not like really rushing, it can be a slaughter because just riding water, you're going to get earthworms coming out of the creek banks, and all the carp and everything been feeding them. Cattle are going to move in and right behind them and feed. But if you can find don't overlook even like ditches, small creeks. I mean, some places might not be more than 15, 20 feet wide, and you'd be amazed the big fish go up into those little areas. Our first episode of River Rats, me, Danny, and Creole did, I was fishing a little bitty tiny tributary, and we got on some big fish that night. But the thing of it is, like now, with the slower rise, definitely the main river, just fish closer to the bank. You ain't got to launch a bait out there a mile. Just closer to the bank, so those big fish will move in tight to the bank. And that's something I look for. Say it does come up like a fast rise like this, and I can't find a tributary, I'll try to find like a little cutback, like a little cove, or a little on the back, or get on the back side of a wing dike that gets you out of that debris. And a lot of times you can really get key on some fish right there.
So kind of the edge of that, if you can find some slack water,
absolutely, yeah.
Right there at that edge. Now one thing that I've noticed, and there is a really large tributary that flows into the Ohio down here by me. It flows in right at Golconda. It is Lusk Creek, and they have a bunch of bass tournaments and stuff up in Lusk Creek. When the Ohio floods, Lusk Creek never has a whole lot of flow anyway. It will back up into there, and it will just basically shut the fishing off. Because all that water is just coming in and it's hitting what's coming out of Lusk Creek, and it's just going to be there's zero movement. But what I've found is if it's either moving hard in or moving out, you'll flow out of Lusk Creek, I'll catch fish up in there.
Well, Jared basically said everything that I was going to say, so he stole my speech. But I will elaborate on it, just from the experience that we had this Saturday. Of course, as we've been discussing, we had a lot of water coming down from the Ohio, and it wasn't a lot of debris on the river, but there was enough that when you're flying along in the boat, you better have your eyes or head on a swivel and looking, because it wasn't like completely covered, but there was big logs here, there scattered. There was a lot of smaller debris in small clumps, like little islands come floating down. Now, normally when we fish, and we were on Richard's boat this weekend, Jerry knows exactly what I'm talking about, but the island downstream of the wing dam there, normally we shoot around that island and fish that wing dam. All the wing dams here underwater. And our first thought was just like get as close to them as we could, where we knew they were, and catch that where it overflows, and maybe those fish would be laid tucked up against the wing dam. But there was so much small debris that it was like just covering the screen. It looked like a little shadow, but it wasn't. It was just trash everywhere. And normally we'll find the current seam and fish right on the calmer side of the current seam. Again, debris all over the screen. We couldn't spot any fish in that area where we normally would on the current seam. And plus, whenever water comes up, your current seams are going to move. They would have been here, at this level, but they're going to move here at that level. As soon as we moved away from the current seam, where all that trash was showing up on the screen, and you started seeing like less of it there, it just started marking fish immediately. And man, we got on some really good marks this weekend. Wound up catching 5 really nice fish in just a short period of time, because we spent most of the day trying to find a spot that just didn't have floating junk on top of and all throughout the water. But as soon as we found those spots where that debris wasn't all just bouncing around everywhere, we started finding fish. Moved up into the tributary and threw on a little dam there, and Richard just absolutely annihilated some giant 16 and 7-inch gizzard shad. When he first pulled the net up, he looked at me and goes, "Oh man," he said, "I got a bunch of freaking carp." I'm like, "Okay." And he dumped them out on the deck. I go, "Gerald, Richard, those aren't carp, those are gizzard shad, dude." He looked and he was like, "Oh my god." After that point, we were like trying to find bait, man. It was like nothing anywhere, just trash all the place. But we found that one clean spot and threw that net, and they were piled. Hey, one throw the net, and we said, "Dude, we're good. We're putting some of these in the freezer." You know what I'm saying? We had that many of them.
Oh yeah.
And so we moved back down the tributary to where it just gets to the river. And in our situation, there was an island right there, and the current sea coming right up, but that island was blocking all that debris. Okay, so you had the tributary coming in from this way. You had a big island and the river shooting around that island, but there was a pocket right there. And the catfish were stacked in there, man. I mean, stacked.
That was good timing on that question. I was getting ready to pull that one up. Mr. Gimpy was asking, he said, Danny and Jerry, how far into a creek should someone go? Just the mouth, further in?
Well, on our situation, we checked the mouth of the creek and right where it hits the river, and we were marking mostly huge schools of the invasive carp, the big head carp, and the Asian carp, huge schools of them. But we're fortunate enough to have a little small, tiny dam upstream of that, and we shot all the way that dam. As soon as we got to that dam, they were piled up right there. Downstream, a couple hundred yards, we would throw and get, you throw 3 or 4 throws and you might get 2 little thread fin or a couple small gizzard shad. But they were trying to get up that tributary as far as they could go until they hit literally a wall, and that's where we got them at. I think they would have went further if that wasn't blocking their path.
I was getting ready to say that if you have something like a low head dam or a locking dam, that can be a major deal.
It's money.
Even like a normal creek that don't have anything like that, if you can find a choke point on that creek, I kind of like to look at catfish, kind of like deer hunting. You want to look for those funnels, same thing. If I can find a creek that will start to bottleneck, man, usually that's where I'm going to set up most of the time. Because those fish will go up a long way, depending on how high the river is. They will go a long way. Because when those rivers flood, those flooded, even like flooded fields, can be an absolute gold mine. The 2-3 foot of water, there'd be giant fish out in those flooded fields feeding. You've got all the night crawlers and everything coming up. Like Danny and probably remember from like back in '93, you would just catch catfish just so bloated with night crawlers. I mean, they would just,
dude, we were fishing cotton fields and cornfields that were like 8 feet underwater, and just tearing them up. And those fish were feeding on. We caught a bunch of them that had corn in their belly. I mean. They go up into those flooded fields and they'll eat whatever's there. But the worms and stuff it's just a smorgasbord for them.
I mean, you got to figure anytime you've got water coming in like that, it is washing bugs, it's washing worms, it's washing all kinds of stuff into that water, and it's covering new areas that they normally they can't reach.
One thing also, this time of year, early spring, a lot of times your tributaries may be just a 2 to 3 degrees warmer, and that's huge.
Yeah.
And then you got all that, because when it's warmer, and especially the water's running, all that zooplankton gets in there. Well, your shad and everything else goes in there. So then it just turns into a big old feeding frenzy. It can be just some of the most. If the water comes up like it did last spring, from literally 1st of March to the 1st of May, every time I went out, I had the utmost confidence I was going to catch a tank, because it's just that high water, and just just amazing. Like I'm running to get like you guys down here if the river comes up, and not too fast. Problem is, get too much like the Kaskasky example. If you get too much flow coming out of the Kaskasky, and then too much flow coming up, so you got to hit that just right. So that night you and Danny came down, Josh. Well, Danny caught a deer.
Yeah, Danny caught a deer that night.
I did.
But it
good size deer.
Not a high point for me though.
And we were throwing 16-ounce, 14, 16-ounce lead, and you couldn't keep your.
You couldn't get it to hold.
And there was so much trash that night that you'd pull your baits in, and your whole line was just covered in grass and everything now. So
or in Danny's case, fur.
Or fur, but
or both.
Somebody told me once, and I wish I remember who told me this because I would give them credit. But they were we were talking about the trash lines and stuff on the river. When you get out on the big river, and it's rising, and there's just all that garbage floating down, and it's going to be it's going to be in one little seam, and it's
Well, I'll tell you, on a Creole is big on that.
No.
he is big about talking about fishing that trash line.
And getting out of that trash line, because it's somebody told me, and like I said, I wish I remembered because I give them credit. But they just asked me a question. They said, if there was all this trash, if it was in the air, blowing through the air, would you stand there and let it hit you in the face? And I said, well, no, of course not. They said, you'd walk out of it, wouldn't you? I said, yeah. I said, fish going to do the same thing. They don't want to get hit in the face with that stuff. Get to the edge of that, and it kind of, one of the other things that I'm kind of going to lead into here, mud line. And you can see that mud line. Who fishes that? Do you?
Oh yeah, that was another part of the scenario that we fished this weekend. Was the water coming out of that tributary was actually quite a bit clearer than the river. The river was pretty dirty as far as the color, but you could actually see a seam where that tributary dumps into it, and it would go down. I mean, it was close to 100 yards before it would actually start mixing, and you couldn't see the difference. But from 100 yards downstream up to the point where the tributary is dumping, there was it was like you took and drew a line in the water, and that's another factor that one of those catfish were schooled up this past weekend. It was very minimal debris showing up on the screen. As far as, the stuff just floating around in there, all wild grass and stuff, very minimal on that. And there was that current thing where that clear water was right at that darker water. And that's where we found the fish.
Now, in a kind of an opposite scenario, if you have a case where, like I said, a river is normal pool, all of a sudden we get a massive torrential downpour in your local area. If you can find those little creeks and tributaries dumping into the river, and they're blowing water out, right there where it empties in the river can be absolutely amazing. Everything's just going to come up there and feeding on all that debris.
Again, you've got
they're feeding like right there to where it coming out and kind of slow down to the main channel. You'll get all kind of bait fish and a lot of catfish feeding right there. It can be really, really good. Even like a lake. If you take a lake, you find a creek dump like blowing into the lake, man, right there can be some just insane fishing.
And a lot of the time, those tributaries, and you said it a minute ago, you're going to have slightly warmer water coming out of that. It's not always the case, but a lot of the time it's going to be a little bit warmer.
Yeah, even just a few degrees makes a huge difference. Because we were on the main river this weekend, we checked, and we were running 49 to 50 degrees. When we cut up into that tributary, it jumped up to 53. Okay, and just that few degrees made a big difference. That was for the bait fish,
Jerry and I a few years ago were fishing Winter Blues, one of Chad's Winter Blues tournament, and we were on the Ohio River, and we went downstream of a steam plant discharge, and where the rest of the river might have been running 38 or so. Just downstream of that discharge, that river was 41, 42 degrees. So just a few degrees difference. The structure, the whole setup on that bank was the same, but we didn't get a single bite in the 38 degree water, but we got our arms tore off in the 41, 42 degree water. Just a few degrees was something different. What's that, Jerry?
We were literally fishing 10 feet off the bank.
Oh yeah, yeah, and this is this is January, and we're running 2 to 5 feet of water. That's follow the food.
Like yesterday when Richard and I went out, and unfortunately we went from the boat to the bank. We're not gonna get into that.
That was kind of last week's Catfish Weekly topic.
Yeah,
boat motors.
Yeah, it was lower unit. It's gone. But anyways, we wound up having to troll motor right down there, load the trailer, and we said, you know what, we're going to bank fish today. But we were throwing way out toward the main channel, and your rods would just load up and start bending. Okay, and we reeled up, and we were doing live on my channel, and I walked up, and it was just like 8 feet of grass from the swivel up, you know.
Mhm.
And so I told Richard, I said, you know what, this particular little cove right here, I've had really good success in situations like that. If I would throw 40 feet out, dude, I mean, because the trash is not blowing in that, because the current slows down, it settles, it's not all whipped up. And we started throwing just a few feet out, and we're catching mostly channel cats, but we started getting bites, and we weren't getting loaded up with grass to where your rod would just start slowly bending down until it was finally just so loaded up, it was just bent, you know. And you'd have to reel up and pick all that stuff off there and throw back out. So a few feet off the bank in that situation, and it lessened or even completely eliminated that grass issue.
So I wanted to touch base. And I've said this for many years. This is one of my favorite times. Like what Jerry was saying, the tributaries, them nice creeks and stuff like that's some of my favorite things to hit that river. I'll dodge them 40-foot trees, 50-foot trees that I'm sending down to Danny, and then I'll swing up into them nice big flooded creeks. I think those are very big missed opportunities by a lot of people this time of year, where maybe they're not really creek fishermen. They think if you're hitting the river, you should be in the river, but that's a golden opportunity in my book. But I think another thing that people don't think about, and what you were showing some of them graphics, Josh, and something that Bill and I have really been trying to figure out, dial in on the electronics part, is taking the time to scan and look for that structure, that when that water is really moving and them fish want to get down underneath something or around something behind it, them drop offs and them big massive trees that have already been sunken and they're silted in. You
Oh
got to
yeah,
look
and if
for
you
that
can
kind
find,
of
you know,
stuff.
you'll over there by the bluffs. We have a lot of bluffs along our stretch of the Ohio. Boulders fall off those bluffs. They take trees with them sometimes. You can go through there scanning and find a bunch of large debris. And that's another good time that you can get in there, and those fish are tucking behind that, and if you could drop a bait to them. So one of my best days on the river was dropping baits in there amongst the trees and the boulders, and they were just, it wasn't deep. It was 15, 20 foot of water in December, but they were tearing it up.
Well, that in the spring, don't be afraid to fish 2-3 foot of water.
No, not at all. And I've said that for a long time too.
No, and I'll go with, even in the wintertime, if you have one really good, warm, sunny winter day, go that water up shallow, closer to the shore, it's going to be a few degrees warmer.
Everything, because our water temperature where we're at yesterday was 45, 46 in the main channel. And everything I was catching was 10 to 20 foot of water.
And you caught some very, very good fish yesterday.
Yeah, they were all right.
One amazing fish that we're going to take a look at later in the bragging board. But Jeremy from Trio Catfishing says reverse currents along a bank due to an eddy can also be.
Yeah, that's one of the things we fished yesterday.
And that kind of comes back. I've got that graphic for the edges there. It's one of the things. Eddy areas, behind logs. We've covered, without trying to, I think we've hit every bullet point on this graphic tonight.
Yeah. The thing about those reverse eddies, though, some of them will actually, it'll start drawing debris in there like a vacuum, and those are the ones I generally avoid because it just stacks up in there and just keeps coming back around and back around. If there's a dead deer floating by, it's coming back in 8 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. Is there's an eddy in front of a dam and it's bringing this dead deer carcass.
It's coming back every 8 minutes.
I don't think we've used this graphic yet tonight. We'll throw it up here real quick. Rising water obviously equals feeding time. I think we've covered all the bullet points on that too, other than the first 24 to 72 hours thing. Anybody want to pick that one apart?
Immediately, okay, if you get a local rain and it pours I mean, immediately, as soon as I can, I'm getting out there immediately because you got that fresh influx of fluid coming out of those small creeks. But now, as far as if it's coming from upriver, if it's a real hard rise, it'll be a couple days before it really gets good in the tributaries, in my opinion. Seems like, when it comes to things kind of got to stabilize as it's coming up. Because I think when the river first makes that high jump, kind of throws the fish into a bit of state of confusion, When they're swinging the tight banks and they finally feel like, oh, here's a tributary. I can get in, climb through, and get myself out of this mess for a bit. And then, as like I said, especially if you go on a prolonged period as it's rising, it can just get better and better and better and better,
And Jerry, just so you know, so for the fans, we all refer that to a state of DSO.
Wow.
But,
Oh my God.
But now,
no, the local rates, they don't affect your water levels. Okay. But they are, like Jerry said, they're washing in, like a lot of guys, when I grew up, the people will talk about, hey, catfishing in the rain was the big deal. The reason for that was that it would wash in stuff immediately. Okay, it's washing into those creeks and stuff, but you're not getting that rise. That rise is going to whoever's downstream of you. Okay, the local rain you get, you're not going to see a whole lot of fluctuation in your water levels, but you will see a pickup in the fish bite because it is washing stuff in there and sending it downstream, along with the water that's going to, it's not going to hit me. It's going to hit the guy down there. Like Chad's dumping crap on me all the time.
Yep.
Same issue. It may not affect his levels drastically, if at all, but it's going to hit me hard.
Gimpy says, Danny, you bank fish a lot. What should someone do during rising water from the bank?
Well, make sure you got good boots so you don't slip in the river. In our area, gumbo mud stuff. But yeah, find me and Richard have several spots like this, and Jerry's fished them with us. If you can find an island or a spot where the structure or the landmass juts out into the river and creates a big cove, those are the honey holes for you. As long as they're not like creating that vortex where it's drawing a lot of debris in there that just keeps coming back around and around like we were talking earlier. But if you can find one that's fairly clear, those are your golden tickets right there. You want to hit those. You need to place like a tributary. If you got the situation we got, tributary coming out and an island right there just upstream from it, the tributary is pushing that trash at a slower rate out toward the main current, and the island is keeping it, when it comes downstream, it's knocking it out away from you. That is the perfect spot to fish. Absolutely. You know what I'm talking about too, Parker.
Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about. Well, when you get that flooding and backs up into those creeks, you got all that brush stuff, it is not the time to take the channel cat gear with you. Take good stout gear with you. Reels of plain backbone, good stout line, because a lot of times you're going to be trying to fight fish through that brush. And I'm a big fan of like just straight Carolina rig. But if I'm fishing that tributary and that tributary ain't got a whole lot of flow come down, I will absolutely 100% throw a Santee rig to get it out of the flooded grass and stuff that's on the bottom.
Yeah, we get a lot of that because, Jerry, we've been having basically a drought for the past 2.5, 3 years.
Yeah.
And the river's been down. Well, it's had time for all the little the willow trees and saplings. They grow up all over the bank, and then when the river comes up back to a normal stage, whatever, dude, it's just like Snag City. So I run the 3-way rig with a float and sacrificial sinker, because that sinker is going to find every little tiny sapling of a willow limb or whatever is growing out of the bank until the river is up long enough to kill those off and kind of wash them out of there. Yeah, it's a whole different ballgame as far as snags in the river. It's not just rocks now. You got freaking little trees that are about the size of a number 2 pencil growing up everywhere that you'll get hung on. And they'll grab a hook, just wraps around those perfectly for some reason or another.
They're like a magnet for us.
Yeah, it just fits right in that little that little groove, and boom, got a tree.
I'm gonna guess probably a month and a half ago, I did a video on like when the water is low. That is the time. Grab your phone and go for a walk. Find the tributaries. Find those cut banks when everything's low. Take some pictures. Earmark that stuff. When it's low, so when that river comes up, like, okay, this, and this, But now that's going to work better, like so much in the tributaries, because the main river, it'll change overnight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What was a ledge, it may be nothing, when the river comes up. But
yeah, what I do in that situation is basically the same thing. When the river's down, I mean like super low drought conditions, I will take my phone, pull up Google Maps, and I will walk that bank and drop a pin. And you can put a description on that pin, okay? And I can walk along the bank. Used to I'd walk miles, now I walk yards. But we're over at Dawson's Point Conservation Area where Parker's Fish was a lot there. The road drives along the river for a long, long ways. And dude, you can drive along looking out the window and just sit on your phone with the map on it, and you see you on there, the little blue dot moving along. Mm-hmm. Drop a pin there and then put a description underneath it. You could pull that phone up later on and pull that pin up and see exactly what you wrote down is there. And that works really great too.
I did that a few years ago. They drained Crab Orchard Lake way down because they had to do some work on the dam. Mm-hmm. And I mean, most of your bays there at Crab Orchard were almost dry. And we went walking. I flew the drone over it, got me some drone shots. But the big thing was go out walking, and I was dropping pins. Here's a tree that's laid up that I never knew was there. And I marked that tree, and I marked different features. Well, once the lake filled back up, because we knew it was going to, I've gone back and I have caught fish off of those features that I marked.
Well, that's really important for like bass guys like Lyle,
Oh yeah.
Sorry, Lyle.
Creole says closure dikes at the upstream end of secondary channels almost always have gaps called fish dips.
Yes, sir.
Also great areas to check on a hard rise due to increased flow through them. And I'm gonna go one more and expand on that just a bit. Your regular wing dike sitting in the river, if you've got one's got a blowout hole in it in the center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's one of my especially like in the winter months. But like you were with me, Josh. That's what we were trying to key in on that day when we were looking. We had a pretty good day.
We had a real good day. I'm still editing video from that day.
Now, when that river's like water is blowing over the dikes, as a bank angler, sitting up against the base and just throwing along the length of the dike, so fish, water's just coming over and just got that eddy that they're laying there, just picking everything off and just chunking out. You ain't got to throw out far, just throw right on the base, and man, it can pay off big time.
We went down a few years ago. My buddy Heath and I. It was early mid-January. It was cold, and the Ohio River was up, and we went down. It was just, hey, let's go do some bank fishing at night. We didn't figure we were going to do any good, but we'd give it a shot. It was better than sitting at home, and. So we had, of course, all the crap floating down the Ohio River. And you couldn't throw out real far that you weren't just getting snagged on stuff and everything's floating down. And Heath pitched one of his lines up into Lusk Creek. And he had something bite. And a mutual friend of ours has tried to tell us for years that all that had to be a log or whatever else. It went upstream, and we keep trying to tell him logs don't swim upstream. So he had something massive on. We never got to see it. It broke loose. We never got to see the thing. I would have loved to seen that fish, but. There's James. Says smile, Dan.
James.
Oh man, I'm I'm actually in downtown Branson, Missouri now. I'm up here all week for. I've got Missouri Rural Water Conferences and Department of Natural Resources. Meeting with them tomorrow. And Stacy didn't come with me. I'm always depressed when I'm in a hotel by myself. It's not fun. And the most depressing thing is this full-length mirror. I don't know why they put those in there. I hate those freaking things. Yeah, we're actually in the bathroom right now, guys, because it's the only place that's got good lighting.
Posing, he was doing Hulk Hogan moves.
Yeah, I was like, well, you guys, I've got you set up on the sink and you're leaning against the faucet.
Little did you all know that Danny's been sitting on the commode the whole time.
Danny's been talking. Now we said
no,
before the show.
I drug a chair. I drug a chair from out of there.
I said
so.
The show started,
the toilet's right. The toilet's right there. Okay. You're not going to get me on that one. There's the toilet.
100% Parker would have been in that bathtub.
Well,
yeah. And the camera's sitting on the toilet.
Yes.
But yeah, my arch nemesis, the full-length mirror. I hate those.
He's going to be doing a reenactment from Red Dragon.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh wow. Creole, I'm highlighting
I'll be up here.
I'm going to screenshot it and send it to Heath just to ruin his day. So.
Yeah, but I'll actually be up here all week, and I'm going to try to sneak out of the meetings and stuff and get a little trout fishing in if I can.
So, really
good areas down there.
Yeah.
We'll go right below the Shepherd Hills hatchery. Just where the hatchery emptied in, just about 20 yards down from there. And the main, it's really good right there.
Yeah. So. What is that lake? Is it Tacoma or Tacoma? Whatever. Which one is it?
Tacoma.
If you want to go,
dude, it's like a mile up the road from me right now.
We got houses. You got lights on there and everything, and you can just go out there and do some fishing at night.
Yep, I'm probably going to try to get some. I didn't bring any catfish rods with me though, because I was thinking, trout or something.
Walmart sells them. At Walmart.
Yeah, there's a Walmart right. Well, there's a Bass Pro 2 blocks from here.
Policy.
Yep, I got a Bass Pro 2 blocks from here.
Fish, so. Let's see. We're closing in on 10 till. Let's get. We're going to knock something out real quick.
Oh boy!
Wow, that's a listen and a half.
I know, right?
Man,
Lord.
Everybody and their brother signed up. Danny Stone's on there.
Yeah.
So we're gonna spin for this is for the March Top Cat, which will be on March the 16th. That's 2 Mondays from today. We'll spin. The first one is going to be our competitor. We'll spin 2 more times for our alternates to be pulled up in that order. That's if something happens and the competitor's not able to fish. So we'll hit spin here. We'll see who our first one is. Oh, I was going to say, people are going to say it's rigged.
River Rat. Hey, that's going to be a good one there.
Awesome. That is going to be an awesome show right there.
It absolutely is. I want to see what he can do in 2 hours.
Ernest put some hellacious fish on the bank.
Yep.
So we'll hide Ernest off of there. Let me write him down. And we'll get our first alternate.
Jody.
There is Pontoon Jody. And we'll symbolically spin for our second altar because I know there ain't no way that Jody's going to have her name come up in that fish.
Yeah.
So. But we'll do it because it's symbolic.
2 weeks from today, Buggy.
Ooh, look at this.
Oh.
Damn.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Britt.
Well, you're set, dude, because no matter what, that's going to be a great show. Any one of those three.
Any one of them, and those are 3 people that none of the 3 of those are going to. None of the 3 of them are not going to fish.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. V. Smith says, you know what April is? Back on the wheel. He's been waiting on the water to thaw. So,
Yeah. I really hope B gets picked for it or gets it because I tell you what, she is so excited about that and just wanting to do it.
you know what? If nothing else, that's going to be one heck of a fun show.
You're reading my mind.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. So,
Yeah. It'll be high energy no matter if there's fish or not.
I've been trying to catch the questions. If I missed one or if you have one you didn't think of, throw it in there and we'll get.
Yeah, any final questions for Tweedledee and Tweedledum? I mean,
you got two guys on panel tonight that regularly catch very, very good quality fish, and then you've got Danny and Jerry, and
Hey, Jerry, ask him, when was the last time either of them been fishing?
yesterday. And Jerry knows I went fishing yesterday.
High five, Josh.
Oh my God,
good one.
Boom.
How many times this year have you been fishing? Because I've gone pretty much every weekend.
You're outdoing me right now. So, but I had to. I couldn't let Chad get all the burns in. So,
well, we love you anyway. It's hard sometimes, but we do.
Danny, I was going to invite you out on my boat, but seeing you keep doing the Richard's boat, I don't know if I want you out on it.
Well, I mean, hey, he ordered a whole new lower unit. We were sitting on the bank fishing after the boat tore up, and I saw him over there scrolling on his phone, and he goes, done. And he said, just ordered a new lower unit.
Oh man, I sent him two that were. One was right over in Tiptonville. I found him one on Marketplace for like $200.
Well, he paid, and this is what scares the hell out of me. Excuse me, but he paid $666 for that. I'm like, John Cyclone was on the phone and said, "Dude, put another $1 on it because you're going to hell."
Yep.
I said, "We're not buying a lower unit for $666. Add $1, dude. You're already cursing the boat."
No.
I mean, I don't know who it was that put that price on that boat. You know what I'm saying?
You got a heck of a deal because I need one on the Champion on that 200 horse, and it's going to cost me $1,300.
Wow.
I went and priced it. That's $1,300 for a reman, and does not include installation, which I'm not going to have them put it on anyway because who takes better care of my outboard? Me. So
yeah. Well, here in the spirit of being more prepared, we're actually because the gears in that lower unit are just crunched up and shot. When we pulled that lower plug out, old plug out, the little magnet on there, you couldn't see it for all the pieces on it. But he's got that other lower unit. If you remember a couple of years back, that froze and busted the housing.
Yeah, he's got one that the housing's busted on.
Exactly. So we're going to take the gears out of that one, put them in the one housing that isn't broke. That's going to be the spare put in the shed for backup.
That's not a bad idea to do, and that's what I've got plans to do that with that. I had to put that lower unit on that 150 of mine, and I've got the old one that just had a constant leak, and the housing is good, but it's just one of the seals, and I've never been able to find it is bad. I said I was going to take it apart and do that, and I'll do the same thing with the one on the 200. It's the only thing wrong with the one on the 200. Either the reverse gear is tore up, or what is more likely is the clutch dog. The reverse has worn, because when you put it in reverse, it just tunk 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 tunk. It doesn't want to move. So
I had one do that one time, and it was the linkage, because the shaft coming down, the ship linkage, it's got that one little piece on there that attaches the two pieces, and one of the screws had backed off and it was slipping. And so you weren't getting, and you had to go in there and adjust that and tighten that screw down so it wouldn't do that anymore.
Hey, there's Mama Cindy joined us.
Hey, Miss Cindy.
Hey, Cindy.
Good to see you in here. Oh, okay. Oh, hey, there's Keith. He says, yeah, but Danny can't catch a spoonbill.
I was bringing comments up.
I'm
You
working
kept
on it.
ignoring them all.
I didn't.
I haven't
catch it.
tried. I haven't put a lot of effort into trying to get a spoonbill, but we're going to. That's on me and Richard's bucket list this year. Is
Boat
Well, you got
bust
to
out
tackle
another
catching them
1,000.
out.
That ain't no kidding. Robert Modulin.
no.
The boat is a hole in the water that you throw money into.
Well, Richard's been talking about buying a new boat, and people are saying, "Well, what are you going to name it?" You're going to say, "We're going to name it Not Fireball."
Ice pellet. Ice. Oh, you can name it Ice Cube. Go completely opposite.
Yeah, but we were down there at Memphis, for the conference they had down there. Since there wasn't CatCon this year, we went to Memphis and did that one down there. And he is really locked in and in love with this boat he found down there. And I'm like, oh my God.
That usually happens when they have them at shows.
Well, he's gone so far as filling out the paperwork and, figuring the loan and stuff and everything. So he's pretty serious about it.
He's serious about it then. So
yeah, he's pretty serious about it.
yeah, we're going.
The company's out of Searcy, Arkansas. And we actually thought about taking a trip down there because they sent him a form where you take off or add what you want on the boat to be built. And it's out of Searcy. It's not that far from here. You can basically have them build your boat and drive down there and pick it up.
That wouldn't be bad at all, especially then you have it exactly the way you. If I'm gonna buy one, I want it exactly the way I.
Yep. Yeah, they emailed him a checklist for to go through and say, take that off.
Yeah.
I don't need it. That's money I'm saving. Put that. And he just went through that checklist and basically it's like build a bear but build a boat.
If you're gonna pay on one for that long, you might as well get it how you want it. So
exactly.
Well, Danny, Jerry, thank you both for joining us this evening. I know it was last minute when I hit you guys up and you didn't leave me hanging, so I owe both of you. So
no problem, man. It's an absolute pleasure for me. I'm stuck in a hotel by myself, bored out of my mind. So hanging out with you guys was the highlight of my week, probably.
Well, there we go. Let me double check something real quick.
How sad is my life?
But Danny, if the river does start coming and starts flooding back up in the Cascade, I'll get a hold of you. I already talked to Josh, but I'll get a hold of you. See if you want to come up Saturday, maybe.
Well, thanks to Chad, it's already flooded down here, and I will be back Friday. Yep. So the same goes for you. If you don't have water up there, come on down. I got you covered.
Hey, look who joined us.
Yeah, I thought he was going to come on live yesterday, but he was a big fat no-show.
Now he fished today, though.
I was fishing yesterday. Parker came up and fished with us a little bit, or hung out with us.
Yeah, I was running a drone all the first part of the day yesterday for my brother-in-law, but the good thing was it was close enough to the Kaskaskia that when I got done flying the drone, I just boogied on up, and it actually worked out really well because Jerry was having power trim pump problems, and I'm like, hey, I'm 15 minutes away. I said, just wait there at the ramp. We'll get it straightened out. So
I gave him some bait, so it worked out.
He gave me some bait. I caught a fish off the bait. That's a win for everybody involved. So
Richard and I were sitting there fishing, and I sent Jerry the link, and he said, think Parker's coming up? And I said, I don't know. He said something about maybe not having signal or something. And then Richard looks over and shows me, not saying what. He goes, look what Parker just did. And I said, yeah, he'll be up here in a minute. And sure enough, boom, in the basement, there he is. I said, yeah, he'll be on here now.
Well, I couldn't. Most spots I fished, you can't get service. And I was actually, the spot I was at, I normally don't ever fish. But for some reason, the fish were laid up in there, And I caught that one big one, and I actually had another takedown. I was actually on the phone with John Cyclone, and I was just trying to get my composure back. And I had another rod go down so hard, it actually went below the transom. And it snapped, the line snapped. So, because there was two big fish I marked on that graph.
Yep.
So.
That's
You had
pretty
a
much
piece
all
of
me and
both of
Jerry
them.
know now. The heads are empty. We're done.
All right. Well, it's 9:01, gentlemen.
That's 8:01 for
In real
for
time.
the cool kids. So
We got a bragging board tonight.
we do. We actually have a really nice breaking board because we've got a 100-pound plus fish going to show up on the board.
Wow.
Right down that way.
I heard it was 10.7. He just embellished.
He moved the decimal point.
I'm not exactly sure when I'm going to put the video out, because, man, the video, it's kind of a long video.
He hasn't figured AI out yet.
Trying to weigh that fish. And the first time I weighed it, I got 103. Then I weighed it again, got 110. And then when I weighed it for our weekly Mad Cat competition, the scale finally locked at 107.
Right there.
Yep.
107.69.
Okay, it was like, I was trying to think, I was shaking so bad that I was done. You know?
If you're gonna catch them little fish like that, you're gonna start working out.
Yeah, I told Marcia, I said, I got to get back to the gym. You know?
Yeah, he's all legs, no arms.
So
He's
Jerry,
all walking.
congratulations, brother. That was an
Absolutely,
awesome
man.
fish. Everybody's going to take a look at
Absolutely.
it here in a second. We'll bring up the bragging board, and that will close us out for the week.
And guys, stick around for a minute.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we'll
Bye,
see
everybody.
we'll see y'all next week, folks.
Hey, have a good week, everybody.
Howdy, folks. It's time once again to take a look at the Catfish Weekly Bragging Board, the weekly video series where we showcase the amazing fish caught by you, our viewers. Leading us off this week is our good friend Andrew of Creel's Guide Service with one of several blue cats he and his brother boated this weekend. Great work, buddy. Congratulations. Clyde, a Catfish Weekly Facebook group member, took a friend out to learn how to pull planer boards and came up with this awesome 30.1 pound blue cat. Nicely done, sir. My good buddy Ethan of Mad County Fishing caught this nice little cat between rain showers today. The fish certainly bite in the rain, so go fishing. Great job. Captain Jeremy Dufour of Creel's Guide Service took advantage of warmer weather and did what he does best. He put some amazing Louisiana catfish in the boat this weekend. Every trip with Jeremy is guaranteed to be an adventure you'll never forget. Nicely done, brother. I only had about 2 hours to fish Sunday evening, but I struggled to find bait. I brought some frozen shad from the freezer, but luckily for me, my buddy Jerry Parker had one fresh shad left from his trip and gave it to me. This 27-pound, one-eyed blue cat bit a big chunk of that shad right as the sun was starting to set and kept me from getting skunked. Mike, a Catfish Weekly Facebook group member, sent us this photo of some awesome fish he caught this weekend. Great job, Mike. Thanks for sharing your catch with us. Our good friend Tom from LG Bass caught this 25-pound blue cat from his famous Lake Gaston dock this afternoon. Nicely done, brother. Glad to see you back on the board. And closing us out this week is my good friend and Top Cat Season 1 champion, Jerry of Parker Pursuits. Jerry landed this 107-pound monster blue cat on Sunday afternoon while fishing the Mississippi River. This beast was photographed and released unharmed to be caught again another day. Congratulations on another fish of a lifetime, Jerry. Don't forget, guys, you too can be featured on the Catfish Weekly Bragging Board. To be eligible, the fish needs to have been caught within the past 14 days, and we accept pictures of any species of fish. To get yourself or a friend on the bragging board, all you need to do is email your fish photo to pics@theweekendangler.com. Send us the information shown on your screen, and we'll get it on the board for you. Thank you all for watching.